Okay, welcome everybody to our November 11th broadcast for So What Zoomcast. My name is Linda Hahn, and I'm coming to you from Palm Bay, Florida, where we might be getting some of that tropical storm, hurricane, or whatever is coming. And my co-host Debbie is not with us today because she had to go to the dentist. So in her place, we have Stevie Graves as my co-host, and she's coming to you from Leesburg, Virginia. Hi, Stevie. Oh, are you muted?
Nope. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
so.
Okay. So our broadcast is brought to you in part by Fox Chapel Publishing, Banyan Boutiques, QuiltWoman.com, and Cheryl Lynch Quilts. So we'll start off our broadcast with my regular share of what's in my glass today, which is cupcake Sauvignon Blanc, left on my doorstep by some of my local Zumba girls. So I have to drink it. So I also have a glass of ice water. So that means not even asking you. Stevie, what do you got in your glass?
The last blue moon.
Okay, what do you think? What does Siobhan say? Siobhan gives you a
2 thumbs up.
ding dong. We have a fabulous guest today. Fabulous. And she might have a special guest with her. She's a very special friend of mine. And it's Michelle May. And you gotta take me off. Take Stevie off. Hi,
Hey
Michelle.
there. Hi, how are ya?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me on today. This is fun.
Oh, I'm glad you came. Now, what do you have in your cup? I know what you have.
Well, I told you I probably would have a Starbucks Grande Soy Latte, but it's raining today and I didn't feel like going out and I already drank. I'm like jacked up on caffeine as it is. So I changed it up and I have my little mug, but it's, you'll probably boo it, but it's a blackberry sage tea from Republic of Tea. It's really good, and it's supposed to be tea for wisdom. I figure I might need all the wisdom I can get today. However, redeeming, I do have dark chocolate, my raspberry dark chocolate in here, big bar, and I ate a big chunk of it. So caffeine, chocolate, woo, I'm ready.
So you are
And normally I'm drinking lattes this time of day.
okay. We'll give you that. So where are you?
I am in Wilmington, North Carolina, the other also known as Hurricane Alley, like you guys are. So yeah.
Wow. And did you bring your little special guest?
My little special guest is here. Let me grab him. He's taking a nap, but hold on.
And this is where she gets her business name from.
This is Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Hey, hi, baby.
I'm sorry to wake you up.
There he is. So this is Henry the 8th. He is my 8th rescue rabbit. And he was actually turned loose during Hurricane Florence 2 years ago and was running around a neighborhood and a lady picked him up. and nobody claimed him. She kept him for like 2 weeks, thinking that, well, the storm has, he got out somehow, but nobody claimed him. And she took him to the animal pound shelter, and they euthanized rabbits within 24 hours.
Really?
My local rabbit rescue went and pulled him, and then there was just something about him. I do a lot of work with them, helping them with the rabbit rescues and stuff. And anyway, there was something about him. I just had to go and get him, and so here he is. And he's a good boy, and he's a little stinker. He's a little maniac actually. But bunnies are like they're like cats. They are most active at dusk and dawn, party animals at dusk and dawn. And then the rest of the time, they're like cats and they sleep.
Where does he poop?
He uses a litter box. They're litter trained. So rabbits, you can train them to use a litter box. They're really a lot like cats. They don't like to be dirty. And you just put a little bit of hay. They eat it's Timothy hay. And you put a little bit of that in the litter box, and they'll jump in there and go to the bathroom. And if you're a gardener, I had some neighbors previously that were big gardeners. And when they found out I had rabbits, they were so excited because the rabbit poop and then the litter, which is it's a paper pulp. It's like when they make paper, it's the paper pulp from it. It makes like the best composting material. So they moved in, and it was right before Easter. And I went over on Easter morning, and I gave them a big bag of bunny poop and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood and happy Easter." And they were so excited.
Now,
Easter.
does that have anything to do with your business name?
It does. Let me put him back in there. I'll tell you
Okay.
about it. He put his castle back. He sleeps in a castle.
Oh, jeez.
I also have Hannah. Hannah's over here too, but she's real old. I try not to pick her up that much. She's really old. She's somewhere between 11 and 12. And in human years, she's pushing 90. So she's a really old bunny. So
I met Hannah when we were there.
Yes. So she's a good girl. I can't believe she does great. So, but yeah, the raspberry rabbits. I've always loved rabbits since I was a little girl. And a friend of mine, I have it upstairs. I should show you. But back in 1998, a friend of mine, she did a lot of toll painting. Remember when everybody's doing that? It was so fun and pretty. And she made me this beautiful shaker hat box, and it had 2 rabbits on it, and it says, "The Raspberry Rabbits Tea Room." I still have it, and I just love that. And I said, if I ever have a business, I'm going to call it that. So there you go. The Raspberry Rabbits came from that. But
Wow.
I've loved bunnies since I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does the raspberry rabbit do?
Well, I have had such a fun time. I mean, I've been on this down one rabbit hole after another. So since 1989, I took my first quilting class from Charlotte and Gotti. You all know how fun and crazy Charlotte is. I love her. So that was in Virginia Beach. I was 21, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, you want to go do a quilting class?" And I was like, "A what?" I was doing cross stitch and stuff, but I was like, okay. So we went, and when you take a class, when your first quilting teacher is Charlotte Ann Gotti, you get hooked because the woman, she's like you, Linda. She's just fun and silly and crazy and good energy. And so I got hooked on that. So it's been quilting forever, but pretty much over the past 10 years, I have been, I started doing wool applique, kind of got known for doing that, and traveling around and teaching in Houston and different guilds all over. And that's been really fun. I worked in construction full time for 12 years. I worked for a custom home builder, and I designed houses and help people do their dream homes. And one of the, I call it party tricks, was that I can look at a blueprint of a house and I can 3D it in my head. And so I know what your house would look like from looking at the blueprints. And I also love paper cutting. And so the idea for reverse wool applique kind of came to me one day when I was thinking about some paper cuttings that I did. And I was thinking about how, you know, you can pull the layers of a house up. And so I started looking at the paper cut and then I made them into 3D. So I'll show you a couple. So like, here's one. This is one of the ones out of my book. So that's Orion the Stargazer. And so it's like, instead of the pieces being appliqued on top, they're cut out and layered behind like that. So it's the reverse. So that's Orion. This is one I taught in, I was on Quilting Arts TV in 2013. And I also taught this last year in Houston. This is Conrad the Carrot Collector. And he's really proud of his carrot collection. But this is done in that same reverse wool applique method. And then this was another piece I did, being the bunny lady here. So I love nursery rhymes. So, you know, Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater. Well, being the bunny lady, this is Peter and Peter are pumpkin eaters. And so that pumpkin in the center there is another one that I taught at Houston, Peter's Pumpkin. So that was really fun to do. And then another thing I did, which was one of my biggest classes, traveling to guilds and everything, is this pincushion. I call it my beekeeper pincushion, because here's a little bee and that's where your embroidery scissors go. And so I taught that and traveled around doing that. And that was super fun too. And then I'll show you this piece in a little bit. I got a fun story to share with you on that one. So I've been doing that. And so pretty much the past 10 years, traveling, doing my website, designing wool, reverse wool applique, having lots of fun. And then I'm 52 now, but when I turned 50, I had one of those moments of just like, I don't know, burnout or midlife crisis, or just ready to do something different. I've always admired people that can like do the same kind of things for a long time, because I am just not that person. Like, who is it? Jane Hall, that could do like pineapples her whole career. She did pineapple quilts and they're beautiful, but I'm like, I can't imagine doing that for my entire career. And so I started this project. I wanted to do something that was just for me. As a designer, you know, you can kind of just, you need something like, all right, I don't want to think about writing instructions, and I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do something mindless. And, you know, turning 50 is a big deal. And so I decided to do a project for me. And so what I did, I've always loved embroidery, I guess from back in the day when we all did cross stitch and stuff, but let me find it on here. Hang on. Here we go. So right here, can you see it? It says 50 right there. So what I did was I started the day after my 50th birthday, which was March 27th. And then these are 1-inch hexes. And every single day for 365 days, I did not miss one day, I stitched a 1-inch hexie. And I put them all the way around. There's the whole project. And I put them all the way around in a clockwise rotation to represent the passage of time. And what I did is I would sit there each day, and it was kind of like a meditative thing, and I would think about the day before and what stood out to me about that day. And then I would just sketch it on my little 1-inch hexie and I would stitch it. So through that whole process, it was really meditative. It made me focus on things. It made me pay attention to all the simple little things in life that you just kind of can blow by. And it also just started reminding me about how much I really love doing embroidery. So that went on for a whole year. And then this past year, last year in Houston, I just remember sitting on the third floor and thinking, you know, I've had such a good time doing this, and I've loved everybody I've met, and I've met the best students and friends. And, you know, I've had fun, but I think I'm ready to do something different. I am such a homebody. I love being home, but I like to inspire people. So I had kind of thought, well, I might just start designing something different and then doing more website stuff, which is pretty much what I've done. And then, hello, COVID happened, and it kind of made it easy. You didn't have a choice. So I feel like it's just been this natural path, this new rabbit hole. And so now what I'm doing is I'm doing these little kits. They're embroideries. So I call them ready, set, stitch. So it comes pre-printed on linen. And then you just do the embroidery work. And here's another one. You can frame them. You can hang them up on things. I've had fun seeing what people are doing. A couple, my friend Carlene, she made hers into a cute little pillow. Another lady named Beth, she made little pillows out of hers. Carlene did a wall hanging. And then this one's new today. But this is a little joy banner that I did. So that's what I'm doing now. And I've got some new stuff coming for 2021, just ready, set, stitch kits. And I feel like they'll be a good thing to do to inspire creativity in people. And you don't have to travel, and you don't have to worry about anything, and it comes to your house. And I have so many ideas in my head, I can't hardly keep up. So I'm having a blast with it. It's kind of like everything, you know, you evolve, things change, stuff happens, and you either go with it or you go work at Starbucks.
And you end up like looking like a heifer because you're drinking and eating all the product.
No.
You have your first question. Can you discuss the reverse wool applique method?
Sure. So in regular applique, you would have, like, say you have 3 circles in regular applique. So you cut one circle, then you cut another circle and put it on top, and you cut another circle and put it on top. With the reverse wool applique, you would have the one circle like that, but you would cut a hole in it to reveal the one behind. So if you had 3 circles, they would have holes cut in them except for the last one. So one would go here, then one goes behind, then one goes behind, instead of layering on the top. Does that make sense?
So
Yeah.
what kind of like needles would you use for that?
So I use the size 7 embroidery needle, and I've been a designer with Valdani threads since 2009. And so I use their size 12 pearl cotton, and I do all the hand embroidery work on that. So all my stuff is all hand embroidered, and then I quilt the backgrounds just like you're quilting a regular quilt. But instead of layering pieces on top, everything is layered from behind. So it's cut out, and then another piece is layered behind. Some of the pieces I do have multiple layers, and some of them only have a couple layers. So like the beekeeper pin cushion here. So see, this is cut out. Instead of this green being cut and sitting on top of the yellow has a piece cut out, and the green is layered behind it, okay? So that's a simple one where there's only, like, the bee has 3 layers. There's the black layer with the cutouts, then there's this yellow body layer, and then the wings are another layer in there.
Now, that looks a little sparkly. Is there beads on there?
Yeah, you can, my students, I used to travel, I had 7 trunk loads of stuff. So I would bring beads and buttons and rickracs and all this. And my students would pick from threads. I'd bring like 50 colors of wool felt, and I would bring like 25 to 30 different colors of thread. And everybody would pick what they want and design what they want. And so then you can bedazzle as much bedazzling as you want on them. So it was really funny to see people's personalities. It was like, I had so much fun watching them because they would first, their eyeballs would get really big, like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. And then it was like, you could just see it though. It's like 99% of the time how the person was dressed is what they picked as far as their colors. And there was this one gal, she's so cute, and I'm trying to remember her name, it'll come to me. But she was in Georgia at the East Cobb Quilt Guild down there. And she was so cute. She had pearl earrings, a little pearl necklace. She was the epitome of a Southern belle, big, beautiful smile. And her bee was full of pearls. I mean, that thing was jacked up, full of beautiful pearls. Her flower had pearls all over it, everything. And it was in the same kind of colors as the outfit she had on. It was hilarious. I always love seeing what everybody would pick out because it matched their personalities so well.
You need to know like any special stitches
No,
coming from somebody who doesn't do binding.
So no, most of the stitches I use are the same ones. I use like a primitive, if you're doing wool, I do a primitive running stitch. So, you know, usually in a running stitch, you gather a couple stitches on the needle and you pull it through. But when you're going through a bunch of layers of wool, you need to go up and down and up and down and up and down. I use that. I use a satin stitch. I love French knots. I use a back stitch a lot. A lot of my students would use a blanket stitch, which I'm not good at. So I tend to just use the stitches I'm a master at, and I don't worry about the rest. But I always tell people, you know, how do you want to do it? One of my students, Lainey, she's in Texas, and one of the things she did the Peter's Pumpkin class, and she does a lot of crazy quilting embroidery. She's really so talented. She did a beautiful little spider web and a little spider on her pumpkin. It was really cool. So it was fun. You can go crazy. You know, how much do you want to embellish? Do you like a lot of bedazzling and embellishment, or do you like it simple?
Oh, okay, you're getting a bunch of questions now. Is it the same process as Mola quilting?
Yes, it's the same thing. Yes, it is. Yep.
Do you package your embroidery pieces in kits?
Yes, I've moved everything now. I used to sell patterns. All my wool stuff they're on my site as PDF patterns, but all of my embroidery kits now, I call it Ready, Set, Stitch, and it's all a kit. You just open it up and start. So if you have a hoop, some people use a hoop, some people don't. You just put it in the hoop and you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your website? I'm putting it in the chat.
The Raspberry Rabbits, plural. Yes, the Raspberry Rabbits.com. It's plural because 2 bunnies.
The raspberryrabbits.com. Okay.
Yeah.
I just put that in the chat. Next question. Jane says she's done the bee pincushion. It's so much fun making it.
Yay.
Each one can be so different depending on what embellishment you choose.
Absolutely.
And then Kathleen said she received a gift from my friend who's since passed. Diane Rosa gifted me the bee from the class she took with you. And now she's hooked on your kits. And she purchased the pincushion kit to make the cushion.
Yay, fun.
Next question. Do you use felted wool?
Yeah, so I started back in 2008, you know, the housing market started to tank, and I was working for a custom home builder. Well, in 2010, I lost my job and it was like, oh gosh, I got to reinvent myself. So I really liked 100% wool, but I didn't have a job. I was worried about losing my house. So I started working with wool felt. I found National Nonwovens through a friend. So then what I discovered over the years, it was affordable for me, but doing my reverse wool applique method, that I liked the clean modern cut. It gives you a nice clean edge doing reverse applique if you use the blended wool. Now this isn't the stuff that you find at Michael's or Joann's. This is a blend of wool and rayon comes from plants. So it's two natural products woven together. So it gives you that nice, clean finish. I have had a couple friends who did some of my stuff with 100% wool. And although they really liked how it turned out, they said it was very time consuming and fussy and fidgety. And they had to, a couple of times they were ready to just throw it in the bin and forget about it because it unravels a little bit and it's real wobbly. Whereas the wool felt doesn't move. You cut it, it stays, you go with it. It's really easy. And you can
use a special kind of scissors?
No, I just I use bunny scissors.
Oh.
Yeah. I just use these little embroidery bunny scissors. So I got some of these in 2005. A friend of mine, one of my students, I had worked as part-time at a quilt shop also teaching, and one of my students brought me bunny scissors, and I've had them for 15 years now, and they're still sharp, and I cut wool and everything with them, and they're great.
Wow.
So, and they cut nice to the point. A lot of my designs have these little details where you cut to the point, so they work out really good to cut to the point.
And Roxanne wants to know, are you coming out with a new book anytime soon?
No, my book days are over. I'm one and done. I had a good time doing it. I actually am down to my last little box of my books. Martingale asked me on, I think it's 3 or 4 different occasions to write a book with them, but it's just, I didn't want to. I again, one and done. I had a good time. I enjoyed doing my book, and I like the products, the projects that I had in there. But I really liked doing patterns, and now I've just moved into being in love with doing kits. I like having these little packages, and plus I guess I probably have like ADD or something, because it's like I like doing these little things and then it's like, oh, I'll move on to that, because I literally, the next design's in my head and I can't stitch it fast enough. I'm like, oh my gosh, I drew something the other day that's coming out in January, and I was like, I needed to be packaging something else, and I was like, but I really want to stitch that right now. And it's like a good book, when you can't put a good book down. So doing the kits and making these little things is kind of like that. I can't put them down once I get started. So just kind of evolved. I've just hopped down a new rabbit hole. It's like I've enjoyed every part of it, but it's really fun to do something different.
Are you looking forward to getting back on the road?
No, I'm not going back on the road.
No.
I loved every minute of meeting people and going. But I am such a homebody. I like that we can do this. I like that I don't have to lug all the stuff, and I like being with the bunnies and my cat and my husband. And so I kind of felt that way last year when I was in Houston. I was like, I think I'm just done with this chapter. And again, it was like nothing bad or nothing crazy. It was just, you just get to that point in life where I think I'm done with this and I'm ready to do something different. And I've kind of been that way through most of my life. I know I'm a homebody, but I do love people. Yeah. Yeah.
Terry loves that you go outside the box, beyond the borders.
Thank you.
And Roxanne's done numerous patterns of yours, and she
She
loves
has.
every one.
Mwah, mwah.
She's like your biggest fan.
She is. She is. Mwah, mwah.
So what weight thread do you use for your various? Do you use different weights?
I used to use the Valdani 3-strand floss, and then I started using the Pearl Cotton size 12. So the size 12 is comparable to 3 strands of floss. It's just that it's twisted. And I just like that nice polished look that it gives. It's easy for me to thread, and I like the variegated. That's one thing I've always liked about Valdani. I started, when I lost my job and I was trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? You know, I was in New Bern at the time, which is a really cute little charming town, but there's like nothing. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I mean, there was like no jobs, no nothing going on. And so I felt like, well, I'll fall back on quilting and designing, which is things I did. And I really, at that time, wanted to find a thread company to work with, like, you know, be a partner with. And I talked to several different ones, and none of them wanted to give me a chance because I was a nobody. But Valdani said, we would love to work with you. And they gave me a chance, and they were so lovely. Dana is just, she's the lady who owns Valdani, is just so sweet. And Daniela, they're just wonderful, lovely people. And so they gave me a chance, and then I started working with the thread, and the fact that I love the variegation in it. It's like, instead of just being like DMC straight color, you got these little subtle changes, or you, like when I was teaching classes, you can fussy cut sections out of each of it to put, oh, I want a little pink over here, I want a little blue over here, or whatever. You can fussy cut the lengths out. I love that. I like that it's color fast. It's hand over dyed, color fast, so it's not going to ruin your project by bleeding it all over when you're done. And I also really liked, I'm a tree hugger, so I like that their dyeing methods don't hurt the environment. So I really, it's like, it was all these win-win situations. So I've had other people contact me in past years wanting me to use some of their things, but I stay loyal to Valdani because they're just great people, and they're just kind. They were nice to me, you know, and they have a nice product. Which I have a big sale going on right now on my website too today. It started today, goes for 3 days. So yeah, so Valdani size 12, it's normally $5.50 a ball. I got it on sale for $4.95 a ball, and if you buy 5, you get 1 free. My color choice, what I pick, and I'll pick what your free one that kind of goes with whatever else you get. So
Yeah, we got more questions.
Yeah.
Do you use one of those thread conditioners on your thread?
I used to when I did the with 3-strand floss, or if you're using regular embroidery floss, I did like the thread conditioner for that. But I felt like I didn't need it when I used the Pearl Cotton. The Pearl Cotton, I haven't had problems with. When I used the 3-strand, or if I've ever used just regular embroidery floss that you separate, I would do the thread conditioner.
Do you have any more kits that have bee pin cushion?
I do not. I sold out back in March. When all this started happening, I sold all my wool. It is all gone. I do sell the pattern, so you can buy the pattern still. It's a PDF download, but I don't carry any more wool. I sold all of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to my seahorse yet because Roxanne has not come over and cut it for me.
Oh, yeah. Seymour the seahorse. Yes.
So, yeah, COVID got in the way. See, they're supposed to be taking care of me and like prepping these things for me.
I love it.
Have you had your Pearl Cotton run on your project?
Pardon me, what was that again?
Have you had your Pearl Cotton run?
No, Valdani is color fast, and so it never runs. it's perfect. Yeah, I've never had a problem. And you know, red, I've used red and never a problem because it's color fast. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we got a couple. Where do you buy wool? Do you have a preferred source?
So there's two companies. The National Nonwovens is the manufacturer. They are in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and they've been in business over 100 years. Yeah, USA company. And so they have a website, commonwealthfelt.com. They carry, of course, they have their retail site you can get. They were redoing their website the last time I checked, but you can buy from them. They have all kinds of colors and sizes of the wool felt. If their website is still being changed and you want something now, I recommend Prairie Point Junction. They have a section called Wool Felt Central, and they have all kinds of colors too. And they're really nice people. They're nice people. So
I put all that in the chat.
okay, yeah, they're great, and you know they're and there's a couple others around, but those usually I would tell people, like if they wanted a color that I didn't have, I would tell, or if they wanted bigger pieces than what I had, I would send them either directly to National Nonwovens or I would send them to Prairie Point Junction. Yeah. I have this squirrel pattern here. This is a pillow, but it's called Falling for You. And so it's two squirrels getting married under a giant acorn. And I have a little story that goes with this. Do you want to hear my infamous squirrel story?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a story. Everybody loves this story. So I was living in New Bern, and I went to the grocery store, and I came home, and I was getting ready to bebop up the steps, and out of the corner of my eye, I look over, and I see this thing swimming around in my neighbor's little kiddie pool, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? You know, and I'm like, man, I need to go over there and see what that is, or tell Tiffany, like, don't let the kids out. There's a snake. Thought it was a snake. So I get over there and I look, and it's this little baby squirrel. And it's like, I'm animated, so hang on. And so that little baby squirrel's like swimming around, and it can't get out because the pool's like this high, you know, and it's got that size, there's no ladder. And so that little thing's just swimming around trying to get out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I use these recycle grocery bags, right? Reusable grocery bags. And so I go over to the pool, I get my grocery bag, I go over there, and I try to, like, he comes around, I'm like trying to scoop him up, right? Trying to scoop him up on the grocery bag. And he goes around, and he comes back around again. I try to scoop him up again. He goes around the pool again. And so by the third trip around, I can't get him because the water keeps taking him off. Third trip around, I'm like, oh my gosh, because he's like exhausted. He's so tired, and he starts sinking, right? And he's falling down. I'm like, so I reach my arm in there to grab him. I grab his tail because his tail's going down. Well, in my mind, you know, I'm a bunny lady. So when you pick a rabbit up, you have to be very careful. You pick them up underneath their belly, you support their back end, and you pull them up like that. So in my mind, bunny mama, I reach in, I grab him by the tail, and I put my hand under his belly like a bunny, and I pull him up out of the water, and I'm like, you poor little. He bites my finger, and I'm like, ah. So your first instinct is to like flick him off, right? But that sucker had a massive death grip on my finger, and I knew if I flicked him off that my finger would go with him. And so I'm trying not to scream. I got this, you know, he's biting. So I like carefully lower him to the ground and get him down to the ground. I'm like, you have got to let go of my finger. And so he does. He lets go of my finger and he starts hopping off. And I'm like, oh, and I pick my finger up and I'm like, good, and it's hurting real bad. And I look and there is blood gushing down the arm. And I'm like, ah! I go running in the house. get the peroxide, get the rubbing alcohol, putting it all on there. And I'm like, you know, throb. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, it hits me. And, you know, this is when everybody goes rabies, right? Now, I had a hair appointment. And so oh my gosh, I got a hair appointment. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I call my neighbor. I'm like, think. What am I going to do? I got a hair appointment. And so I call my neighbor down the street and I'm like, she'll know what to do. She's a nurse. She's got squirrels all over her yard, right? And so I go down, I call her up and I'm like, hey, Barb, it's Shal. Quick question. Do squirrels have rabies? And if they do I have enough time to get my hair done before I start foaming at the mouth? And she starts laughing. She's like, what? And I'm like, I got bit by a squirrel and I need my hair done. And she goes, girl, you need to go to the doctor. Are you crazy? Well, it wouldn't have been such a bad thing about having your hair done. However, when you have a really good hairstylist and your hairstylist is pregnant out to here, your window of opportunity to get your hair done is very tiny.
Oh, yeah.
So I call up my hairstylist and I'm like, I got bit by a squirrel and da. And she's like, she's like, you're insane, go to the doctor. I'm like, but I need my hair done. And she goes, just come in later. I'm like, don't you dare have that kid. And so she's laughing, I'm laughing. So I go to urgent care and I'm sitting there. You know, you fill out the form and I'm like, squirrel bite, blah. So I go back in there and this very tall gentleman doctor, he comes in, you know, white coat, he's got the clipboard, he's looking. And so he's like, squirrel bite, you know, he's very distinguished, squirrel bite. And I'm like, yeah. So I tell him the whole story, just like I told y'all, right? I get done telling him the story. He bursts out laughing and he says, you are the most entertaining patient I have had in years. He's dying. So the moral of the story is that squirrels do not carry rabies. And if you get bit by one, it's going to hurt bad and you may have teeth mark scars for several years. You may need a tetanus shot, but if you put some peroxide and rubbing alcohol on it, you will have plenty of time to get your hair done.
Ay.
So that night, I call up David on my way home, my husband, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened to me today. And so I tell him that night he gets home from work, he comes sashaying on in the kitchen, and he puts a big old can of nuts on the countertop, and he says, here, I brought you some dinner. So that's my squirrel story. But that's where this piece was inspired by my squirrels. Anyways, but that's the reverse wool applique too on that. So the squirrels there. So this is the piece of brown here, and then these circles are cut out, and then the dark brown is layered behind it. Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any more questions? Did Michelle, where she buys her thread? Her thread is Valdani, and you can buy it from her. She has it.
Yes.
She has it on her website.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. Stay there, Michelle.
Okay.
I do a quick shoot through to see if Heather is here. Before we do the door prize, one more question. How many layers do you typically have?
Anywhere between 2. The most I've had is 4 layers. There's at least 2, but most of the time there's 3 to 4 layers, depending on what the design is.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, stay tuned. We're going to tell you we have next week. Next week, we have Heather Kojan, and she's not here, so I don't know what she's talking about. But I'm sure it's going to be pretty good.
I'm sure she knows what she's talking about.
She knows what she's talking about. And And on November 25th, because it's Thanksgiving, we're going to invite all our past guests, if they would like to come back on and tell us what they've done since they've been on, because we would like to be thankful to them for sharing their time. Nobody gets anything out of this. We're doing this, for you. And everybody donates their time. Then we have coming up on tomorrow at 2:00 Eastern time. Deb has her monthly sew along. Deb, sign on. Deb, are you here?
Yes, she is.
Where is she? There you are. Hi, Deb. Missed you.
Hello. Yep.
Deb's up in Matawan, New Jersey. You got all your teeth?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. Since the implant came out, I'm down one.
Ugh.
Oh.
What are you
Started-
doing tomorrow?
I am doing a demo of the cathedral windows, hand and machine,
Nice.
various methods.
That was my request because I've been wanting to do that. Not that I do hand stuff. I send my bindings either to Deb or Roxanne to do. So that was my request. So I'll do
2
one and
o'clock
that'll be my
Eastern.
year's project. What?
2:00 Eastern.
2:00 Eastern time.
2:00 Eastern.
Use the same room. Do they need anything?
No.
Okay. All right. So we got that. If you're interested, Road to California, Road at Home. The classes are open. Registration is open. We have an absolutely fabulous staff for you, faculty, with some really interesting classes. You can go to the Road to California website and peruse those. When Michelle says you can't, she doesn't like to do the same thing. Oh, I love doing my New York beauty stuff.
I was gonna say, you do your New York beauties and they're fabulous.
And this is the new class. South
That's
Shore
beautiful.
Spinners.
Beautiful.
So we're gonna then put them together, a little improv. And then the other thing I have coming up on November 28th is
Oh, pretty.
Celtic interlaces. You make the knots independently, and they can be applied to garments. They can be applied to tote bags, whatever, foot blocks. And I'll show you how to use 2 colors, how to make your own fusible bias. And you can find those classes on my website, Frog Hollow Designs, in the store under virtual class tab. Put that in the chat. Get that on. So, I think I got everything. That means it's time. For your favorite part of the broadcast. Now, here's your chance. You want to see all the cameras on because we want to see what you're doing and what you got there. We want to see your camera. All right. So, Denise, where are you? Denise is going to be banging batiks today. Ready, Stevie?
Yep.
Okay, pick 2, please. Pick 1 on each screen. Be nice to Denise so her finger goes your way.
I'm picking first.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay. You want me to pick one on screen 1, one on screen 2?
yeah, turn around, close your eyes, and
Kim DJ.
Kim DJ, you know what is in there? That looks like a coffee cup.
Coffee cup, but it's spiced apple cider,
What's it spiced with?
not alcohol. Just mulling spices.
What do you think, Siobhan? Do I need to do something with your thumbs? Okay, Roxanne's clapping. Jill gave you a thumbs up. Michelle's giving you a thumbs up. Beth, okay. Put your email in the chat.
Thank you very much.
I remember to turn that off. Okay,
Okay,
that is a Banyan Batik bundle.
okay, page 2. Oop. Susan Settler.
Where are you, Susan?
She was on my page 2.
Thank you.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yes.
All right. What are you drinking?
Coffee.
I'm not even asking Siobhan. Beth's giving you a thumbs up. You got anything in the coffee?
No.
All right, put your email in the chat. Okay, we got quote woman. Hey, Siobhan. All right, you can be quilt woman today. We'll keep your thumbs busy. So you can pick a door prize.
Okay, let me,
Turn around.
I have to go to a different page. Nancy Page.
There you are. Nancy. I don't want to see thumbs up. No, we got to see what you're drinking first.
Oh,
Water with ice.
Gatorade.
That looks delicious.
Yes, it's very refreshing.
All right. Let me look at the gallery.
No,
Water with
not
ice.
Nancy Page. That's not Nancy Page. That's
What?
Nancy Kolachek. You got the wrong Nancy.
Oh,
You need Nancy Page.
I had her.
Yeah.
There she is. I had the right one. Now I can't get to where it was. This is Nancy Page right here. Did I push the wrong button? We got her. Nancy Page, put your email in the chat, please. So we can get you. So you were drinking water and they gave you a ice water, really?
Is it Nancy Page?
Overruled.
Check.
Overruled. Okay.
Nancy Page. You
Yeah, I
the-
got Nancy Page.
Okay.
No.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take off Siobhan. Thank you, Siobhan. I'm gonna take off Nancy. Are you ready? You're donating a door prize today.
I am. So I've got a copy of my book, Fable Fusions, and a pair of bunny scissors for you.
Ooh.
So there's 10 projects in here of my reverse wool applique, and lots of fun to do. So yeah.
Oh, so everybody's gonna want that. All right, shake it for her. Do something. Get her attention. Turn around. Oh, they're starting to dance. They're starting to dance.
Oh my gosh.
They get excited. Turn around and spin your finger.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you gotta put everybody on gallery.
I have to put everybody on gallery?
Yeah.
Oh, well, where is that? Let's see.
It should be up in the top right.
Upright view, gallery. Ah, there we go. Oh, hi. Hi. So fun. Hi,
Now you're gonna get your bearings and you turn around and you
all right. Let's see. I picked Diane Werner. Yay!
Diane Werner. Let's see.
Thank you.
Oh, no, don't be thanking her yet.
Oh,
Don't be thanking her yet.
okay.
What do you got in your glass?
I have decaf espresso coffee.
Ooh, lovely.
All right, you got thumbs up, thumbs up,
Good for
thumbs
me.
up. Roxanne, I'm gonna break your thumbs too. Thumbs up. Oh, you got bunny ears. Okay, we'll give you a ding dong. Please put your email in the chat.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Yay.
Yay. Stevie. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Why don't you pick for Quilt Woman since Deb's here, and Deb can pick hers and then I'll pick mine.
You picked one for Quilt Woman.
You picked one for Quilt Woman.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do one from me, one from Deb, and one from Stevie. We'll take care of it. So you can pick one, Deb will pick one, and I'll pick one. 3 more door prizes.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I picked Linda. That's not right.
Woo!
Linda won.
That's what you're supposed to do. I'm drinking wine. Siobhan!
I love it.
Okay, you can pick another one.
Okay. well. Joan Mayer.
Let me find you.
Page 1.
Here I am. I'm a friend of Daria's. Daria invited me to come today.
Don't believe anything she tells you about me.
Everything
Bye,
she's told me is
have a
great.
great
She told me
day.
I should join your Zumba class.
Oh, fun.
Yes. Please put your email in the chat, but
Okay.
we need to see what's in your glass.
Pellegrino water. I'm drinking it
Oh,
right out of the bottle.
I actually like that. I like that.
Yes.
I'm overruling everybody. I'll drink that with wine.
Rest.
Yeah. I'll drink that with wine. Okay, Deb, where are you?
I'm here.
Do it. Do it, do it.
Okie doke. All right, let me,
All right.
I'm on gallery, so let me see. Chris Kamak? Chris Kamak.
I'm here. I'm drinking
I
German
see you.
mineral
I see you.
sparkling.
Hold on.
German mineral water.
Oh, that's good.
It is good.
Does it taste like anything?
Water.
Oh,
like
we have such an exciting crowd.
It's too early.
Okay, one more for you. You have to pick one.
Yeah, it's kind of early in the day.
Right.
3 o'clock in Florida. It's actually 4. Oh. It's 4 o'clock in Florida. It's like early bird specials. So,
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, so.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'll go over on page 2. Make sure you put your email in the chat.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Last one for today. I want to see some excitement. Oh. Hang on. My screen's up. Eileen. How you say your last name? Rogue? All right, I know you've been here before. So you know the deal. You're shaking your head. You got something in there. You're muted. You're muted. You might want to stay muted if
I got it.
is that water?
Iced tea.
Iced tea.
Iced tea. A Long Island iced tea?
No, unfortunately, just straight iced tea.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I'm looking at everybody. What about here on?
It's sad, but true. It's,
Hey,
you get your
Cindy's
door
giving you a
prize
double.
anyway.
Beth's giving you a double. Oh, Connie's giving. Make sure your email is in the chat.
I'm still waiting on Susan Stetler, Joan Meyer, and then Eileen.
Yeah, we're still waiting. If you want your stuff, you better put your stuff or I'll give it away. Susan Statler, who? Joan
Mayer and Chris, oh no, I got Chris, Eileen Rowe.
Okay, where's Joan? Joan,
Okay.
Joan, there you are. Joan, put your email in the chat. Put your email in the chat. Or were you lying about what you were drinking that you're too busy drinking, you're not paying attention? Put your email in the chat there. We're watching it. There you go. So we want to thank Michelle and the bunny.
Thank all of you. This was so much fun. It was so great being here. Mwah, mwah.
We do have a good time. We do have a
Yes.
good time.
Absolutely.
And you know, we're very thankful that you have taken your time to join us.
I loved it. Great way to spend the afternoon.
So
Good friend.
don't forget, next week we have Heather Kojan. November 25th is our wind down for the year because we can't get anybody. I ran out of friends for December because they all want to go visit their family and stuff. So we're going to take a break in December and come back up in January. So look for us. So What Zoomcast is on Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel that you can go see all our past guests. We have a whole bunch of them, and they cover all kinds of different things. That is So What Zoomcast. So thank you everybody for coming, and we will see you next week. If you would like to join us for free Zumba, it's 9:30 every morning on Monday and Wednesday morning. It's for quilters. We have quilters from all over the country. There's about 5 of them on here now. All from all over the country: California, Wisconsin, Michigan, Wyoming. They tell me I'm easy to follow. We have fun. Use the same sign-in. This is the same meeting. These are the keys to my kingdom. And everybody's welcome. We do about 45, 50 minutes, and we have a good time. It'll get you moving and out of your COVID slump. So everybody's welcome. So, okay. Love you guys. See you next week.
Very much.
Bye, everybody.
I even got a ding dong for that.
Thanks.
See you next time.